I was a woman in a country where being a woman is a crime. I flew to the other side of the world. Now my crime is being from a country where being a woman is a crime. Imagine being born a girl. Imagine being 7 years old and being told that you no longer can wear dresses because now that you're going to school, you need to cover yourself up from head to toe. Imagine having to wear the same covered up costume every day, even when it's 120 degrees outside. Millions of girls do that in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Imagine getting arrested for protesting to this forced hijab. Imagine turning 9 years old and so magically you no longer can play with your friends who are not from the same sex because you have come to the age of taklif. That's when all the God's orders become mandatory for a female to obey. This is also the age when it legally becomes okay for your parents to marry you off to whoever they want. Can you imagine living somewhere where it is okay for someone to play with you while you're playing with your dolls? Based on government statistics last year, in Islamic Republic of Iran, more than 31,000 girls between the ages of 10 to 14 have been married off. And there have been 1,474 babies born from mothers between the ages of 10 to 14. Imagine going to prison for objecting to Islam. Imagine, even when you are in your 20s, have a higher degree, and might have even worked for a few years. You still need your father's permission, or if he's dead, his father, or a male from his side of the family to get married. Imagine running away to get away from your father who you know is going to kill you because you fell in love with the wrong person. Imagine not being able to marry someone you love because your father refuses to sign you off. Imagine being murdered by your father and the laws protecting your father because you are his property. Imagine not being able to go to school because your dad does not see a reason for you to. Imagine being forced to go to school because your dad thinks you're better off bearing children, so he will exchange you for some money. Imagine not being able to go to the university because your husband does not want to sign a permission slip for you. Imagine not being able to travel because your husband refuses to let you renew your passport. Imagine being beaten to death by your husband and not being able to call the police because legally he has done nothing wrong. Imagine going to prison because you did not do tamkin. That's submitting to your husband's will because he knows best. This includes having sex with him whenever he wants. So imagine having to have sex with someone only to keep them happy enough not to beat you to death. Let's say you build up enough courage to think about divorce. But remember, you are living in a place where women cannot file for divorce. Let's imagine you successfully get a divorce. But remember, this only happens if you agree to leave with nothing. So imagine you are divorced and penniless. Imagine looking for an apartment but being told that they cannot rent an apartment to an alone woman, let alone a woman who has been divorced. God knows what kind of people will be coming and going inside a divorced woman's house. Let me clear that up. Having sex is illegal for women before marriage. So if a woman is caught having sex with someone before being married, she could get executed. Some families even ask for a health certificate from the bride's family, which means they want the girl marrying to their family to go have a midwife look up her vagina and sign a piece of paper saying no one has ever injured her. So when you are divorced, there is no way of knowing how many people you will have sex with since you have already given away your virginity. No one can tell if you are a whore or not. And since you did get a divorce, you must be, because it is always the woman's fault. There must have been something wrong with you. Husbands don't just let their wife leave, because a good woman always listens to her husband and never complains. Now, imagine you had kids in this abusive marriage you just got out of. Imagine not having any rights whatsoever over your children because the father is the owner. So you might never see them again. Imagine being told that if you were a good mother, you would not have asked for a divorce in the first place. There is a long list of things I can ask you to imagine, but one of the most important things in this imaginary world that is getting people arrested on a daily basis is forced hijab. Something I mentioned briefly in the beginning. Kamran Talatuf, in his book Modernity, Sexuality and Ideology in Iran, writes, quote, "I refer to the regime's defense mechanism and control as veiling terrorism. Women are constantly fearful because they do not know how to respond to the vague codes embedded in Iran's official ideology and current veiling laws, a condition that limits physical mobility and mental serenity. This fear may last a long time even after a woman is situated in a free society. In a sense, the veil is the most essential symbol of the current Iranian religious state. In a society where symbolism has always played an essential role. Without it, I argue that the state would cease to exist in its current form. The woman's veil is closely tied to the state's ability to exert power, to maintain its ideological posture in the face of universal exigencies of a global economy and rapidly changing population." End quote. Imagine waking up and asking yourself, what will I wear so I won't get arrested today? And imagine thinking all throughout the day, is anybody going to jump me because I'm wearing what I'm wearing today? It's horrible, is it not? And imagine being arrested and have a record created for you because you did not wear what the police liked on a Saturday night. The veiling law is so extreme that every single random person on the street gives themselves the right to comment on people's appearances. Anyone who has responded to one of these random people's comments by saying that it's a personal choice what to wear is now in prison. Some of these people who have been arrested have been tortured into confessing that they were wrong. People say things that I wonder if they are saying on purpose. And in response, I, a broken piece of mirror, reflecting the pain over and over again, turning into shards over microaggressions. People cannot even talk about their personal opinions on the social media because the government thinks it has the right to arrest people if they ever say anything that goes against Islamic beliefs. The government even arrests people who are from Baha'i religion because of their religious beliefs. No one is allowed to put away their hijab, even if they do not believe in hijab, even if they do not believe in Islam. Islamic religious leaders have given orders to people that if they saw somebody who they thought was not wearing the appropriate hijab, they could mistreat them. There were women who were attacked and had acid thrown on their faces because they did not wear what some guy thought appropriate. They never caught the guy, by the way, even though they arrest women who wear something the local police do not like. They never arrested those responsible for hurting these women. Yet, there are millions of people protesting the forced hijab every day inside of Iran, even though the government keeps arresting and killing them. The government has repeatedly said that if people do not like what is going on inside of Iran, they can leave. But is it fair to leave your homeland, to have to speak in another language, to have to prove you belong somewhere, when you have a country you love and you want to fight for? Even though you might get arrested for anything somebody in power might not like. Can you imagine that how I am moving in front of you right now could get me arrested in Iran because it is found sexually provocative for a woman to move her body in front of an audience? I could get executed for using my body as a tool to make money. I am a woman. I am a dancer. And I am convicted. As I dance my words into every dialogue, for being sinful, for provoking men, for those who are sick see me as the problem. And they want me to stop with the dancing. They want me to hide under layers and layers of cloth. They want me to stop with the pride I hold over my sexuality. They want me to stop wearing what I feel comfortable in. They want me to stop being me. They want me to stop feeling. They want me to stop being. They want me to stop wanting my rights back. They want me only as a decoration on the shelf. Why should I stop? I